another week down. We are officially over halfway through phase 1. So let's go ahead and hop on the scales and see how you guys did last week.
Iris Alvarado.
AT Thomas 240.6.
196.4.
Nisha. Amber 163.
Emily 141.8.
194.8.
Nakia 343.2.
We have some standings. In 9th place, down 4.4 pounds, 1.99% Scholar. In 8th place, down 13 pounds, 3.64% Nakia. In 7th place, down 6.4 pounds, 3.77% Amber. In 6th place, down 11.4 pounds, 5.22% Nisha. In 5th place, down 11.4 pounds, 5.22%. Okay, hold on. 5th place, down 13 pounds, 6.23% Bev. In 4th place, down 17.5 pounds, 6.79% ATN. ATN, pay attention to Iris's percentage. See how close you are. In 3rd place, down 16.1 pounds, 6.8%. You're 0.01% behind Iris. Is Iris in 3rd place. But Iris ATN is like coming up behind you, girlfriend. And if you don't get your butt in gear next week, she's going to right past you, baby. ATN's like, yes, forget your food. Eat all the tacos. In 2nd place, down 15.8 pounds, 10.02%, Emily. And holding down the 1st place spot, down 30.8 pounds, 13.55%, Brett. Kind of crazy that in less than 2 months, a month and a half, you've lost 30 pounds, Brett. So a couple weeks back, you guys, you met with season 7 and they talked to you about life and death is in the power of the tongue. Life and death in the power of the tongue. But here's what I'll say. We are going to be talking about that again tonight because this is one of those topics that if you do not wrap your brain around this, if you don't adopt this, if you don't start using this, if this doesn't make an impact, oh, I am telling you, you are dead in the water. You're dead in the water. And it is huge, huge, huge. Out of all the things that I would say you need to succeed, this is in the top couple right here. And it is life and death in the power of your tongue. And here's one of the reasons why it's so important. Obviously, if you have the same faith I do, you know it's biblical, that life and death in the power of the tongue, and you will eat the fruit of it. You know it says it right in the Bible. Okay. If you're not, you know, we don't share the same faith, it's scientific. Scientists have proven that you are a result of what you say. So no matter how you slice it, and if you believe in the Bible and science, well, there you have it. It's a double freaking whammy. So, you know, and I first was made aware of this when I was a psychology major. I first went to school to be an attorney. I was going to be like a law attorney, like, you know, a high profile. And then my professor sat me down and he said, Carmen, do you know what kind of life those people have? They don't have a good one. You're going to be targeted and all this stuff. So I said, okay, fine, I'll be a psychiatrist. I wanted to be a child psychiatrist. I was abused as a child. I was molested as a child, and I wanted to help kids who grew up in a similar situation that I did. Poor, abused, molested, all those things. And so I was going to school to be a psychiatrist. And I was always fascinated by psychiatry And even in high school, I can remember I took psychology 1 and psychology 2, and the way the whole human brain worked just really fascinated me. And I remember when I first was introduced to life and death being in the power of the tongue, and how the power of what you say affects your brain and how strong your words are. And, you know, the truth is your brain does not know the difference between a truth and a lie. Your brain only knows what you tell it. I'm going to say that again, because I want everybody to catch that. Your brain does not know the difference between a truth and a lie. Your brain only knows what you tell it. And whatever you tell it, whatever you say is the truth to you. It doesn't mean it's the truth. It means it's your truth. And so I can remember we had to test this theory out of how powerful the brain was, and based on our words. And so we had to pick somebody and we had to test this out. So what we decided to do for our experiment is there was 6 of us in a group. One of the girls didn't show up for group that day. So we decided the other 5 of us were all going to go up to her that morning. And we all had these little planned lines we were going to say. You don't look good. Are you feeling okay? Wow, you're really pale. Did you get sleep last night? Do you have a fever? You're sweating. Like, we had all these things we were going to say to her. She was feeling fine prior to our experiment. The next 2 hours, the 5 of us go up to her. We insinuate that she's sick. By noon, she was at home throwing up. Another study. And again, a lot of this stuff, if I was not a psychology student and I did not study the power of the brain and what the brain can do, I'd be like, come on, this is some hooky spooky hocus pocus stuff. Your brain is so, so, so powerful. So another study, this will show you an example of life and death in the power of the tongue. So Harvard University did a study, and they were going to do the study on, because when your body's hungry, it actually releases chemicals to tell your body, hey, I'm hungry. And then when you eat, it actually releases chemicals to signal to your body that either I'm still hungry, give me more food, or I'm full. Okay. And how many of you guys have ever gotten the feeling where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry, I've got to eat something. And then after you've eaten, you literally are like, oh, it's almost like happiness, right? Like you just feel satisfied. So they put up a sign and it said, okay, we're paying you to do this experiment it's 2 weeks. They had all these people sign up. They said, all right, the first week, you're going to come in, you're going to come hungry. We're going to hook you up to the machines. And the first week, we're going to give you a low calorie meal replacement shake. It's going to be chocolate. And we want to see if we want to see what it does to your hunger. So the people came in, they hooked them up to the machines. They gave them this low fat, high protein meal replacement shake. And what they found is it took the edge off, but their body, and again, they're testing the chemical that's being released. They're not just testing their feelings. These are the chemicals being released inside of the people's bodies. It released chemicals saying, okay, took the edge off, but we want more. Okay, great. Thank you for coming in. Next week, you're also going to come in hungry, except next week, we're not going to do a meal replacement shake. We're not going to do a low calorie shake. We are going to do a triple chocolate fudge frosty milkshake. Okay. So come in hungry. You're going to get a giant chocolate milkshake, and we want to see what that does. People came in the next week. Of course, they get a chocolate milkshake, triple fudge, and they find out that, oh my gosh, their body released so many more satisfying chemicals that, no, I'm not hungry at all. I'm completely satisfied. Like, this is amazing. Thank you for not giving me the low fat shake again. Come to find out, it was the same shake both weeks. It was the same shake both weeks, but their body actually released different chemicals. Why? Because of what was the only difference? Same shake, same person, same hunger. The only difference was the words that were used to describe the shake. So their brain communicated to their body based on the information it had, because the second week, did they get a triple chocolate, super rich, indulgent milkshake? No, they got the same low calorie chocolate shake. Same shake. That's how powerful your body, that's how powerful your mind is. That is how powerful your mind is. And so we live in this world, right, where we have people running around saying things that go directly against our goals, that go directly against who we want to be and where we want to be. And what I'm going to tell you, it's not all your fault because we live in a world that is a bunch of death speaking. Like most of us have been programmed to do this. And many of you probably saw this happen after the night you had with season 7, where you talked about this. How many of you started noticing other people speaking negatively around you? Anybody start noticing that more? A couple of you guys. And how many of you have actually caught yourself speaking negative, saying negative things come out of your mouth, right? So that's, most of us don't even realize it. And we don't realize it because everybody around us does it. You actually stand out more if you don't speak negative than if you do. But we live in a world where most people are just, we're, again, being overweight is emotional. It's not logical. And most people speak with their emotions. They speak with their feelings. They don't speak with logic, and they don't speak with goals. So again, we have a whole world of people that are running around saying things like, I'm hangry. I have not, it's 3 o'clock, Carmen. I haven't eaten since breakfast. I'm going to have the shakes if I don't get something in me. I'm not making fun. I used to be one of those people. Here's the funny thing. Do you know the average human being can go 15 days without food? 15 days! So does that mean if you miss 1 day of eating, guess what, honey? You is fine. That's what that means. But oh my God, I mean, come on. One of the things we're fluffy, we don't like missing. I mean, we like missing meals if it's planned or if we're busy and we're too busy to think about eating. But as soon as we think about eating, we don't like missing meals, right? Like we want to eat. And so I can remember, having this epiphany that, wow, I could actually not eat for a day and be fine. This is interesting. Because I would get out and about, and exactly what happened to Iris. I didn't plan. I got out and about, and hear my words. No, I've got to eat versus, no, you forgot your food. So you can drink some extra water and wait till you get home. Right? Guess what? If I actually gave myself a consequence for not taking my food, guess what I'd remember the next time? My freaking food, versus rewarding myself with crappy food because I forgot it. But that's not even the problem. Where the problem starts is what we're saying inside of here. Because as soon as we realize we don't have our food, what do we say next? That's really what matters. Because if we say, you know what, you didn't bring your food, you'll be fine till you get home. You can go 15 days without eating. You only got to go 8. Good deal, man. Versus, oh my gosh, I forgot my food. I can't make it till I get home tonight. I'm going to have to eat. I can't go that long. Now, unless you have a medical condition, and there's very few, I don't think any of you have the medical condition that you have to do that. But here's my point. It's our words that sabotage us. Okay. So it's also the same thing. It's also the same thing if we're working out. There's, I used to believe that God made those people that loved working out, and then he made me. And I believed I did not like sweating. I didn't like my giant pregnant boobs bouncing all over the place because they were heavy, and I had to use 2 sports bras to hold them down and then still hold them down. And I would almost become this other person. And I'm like, okay, Carmen, life and death in the power of your tongue. So if my brain thinks I don't like working out, again, understand your brain's job is to move you towards the things you like and away from things you don't like. So if your brain thinks you don't like working out, your brain is going to try to distract you. Y'all don't know how smart your brain is. It really is like a computer. It legit is like a computer. Your brain is so smart. They actually studied the human brain to learn how to do all this robotic stuff. Everyone's all impressed with Tesla because it can drive itself. I'm like, have you looked in the mirror lately? Because you are so much more capable than any freaking Tesla vehicle. My point is, so if we're telling ourselves, oh, I've got to work out, or I don't want to work out, or, any of those things that don't line up with I'm excited about it, our brain So if I'm saying I've got to work out, I've got to work out. If that's my truth, how does my brain interpret that?
You're not gonna work out.
That I don't want to do it, right? And if my brain thinks I don't want to work out, what is my brain's job? To move me closer towards it or away from it?
Away from it.
Away from it. So one day after being a chronic complainer about my workouts, I thought to myself, Carmen, you know life and death's in the power of your tongue. How would you act if you loved working? How would you act if you loved leg day? Well, man, I'd put on some Montel Jordan as I was getting my energized down and my hair in a ponytail. And I would be like, this is how we do it. Like I'd be dancing downstairs. I'd be like, it's leg day. It's baby's leg day. It's leg day. Because that's how I act when I'm going on a really, like, if we're going to the Caribbean for a week without the kids or with the kids, doesn't matter. I'm excited. I wake up excited. I'm like, let's go. But when it was leg day, I was like, oh, dragging out of bed. It's leg day. Man, I hope we don't have to do those surrenders. Buddha squats. Oh, I hope they don't do them today. So I thought, no, I act like you love it. Act like you love it. So I was like, all right, the next day, I'm like, all right, it's leg day. It's, oh my gosh, babe, it's leg day. I literally went into his office. I'm like, it's leg day. And he's like, okay, you okay? Yeah, dude, I'm so excited for leg day. And the entire workout, guess what I kept telling myself out loud? I love leg day. I love leg day. These legs get to carry me around. I love leg day. I'm so glad I'm doing leg day. I love leg day. Do you want to know when I stopped not liking working out? When I stopped saying that I didn't like it. You want to know when I stopped not liking vegetables without butter and cheese? When I stopped freaking saying that I didn't like them. I love steamed vegetables without butter. Oh, they're so good for me. I love them. I can't believe I went all these years with like slathering them in butter and cheese. Who knew how good they were? So what are you saying? Because not eating vegetables, does that line up with your goal? Because to be healthy, guess what comes with healthy? So if you look at any area of your life, right? Drinking my water is hard. Man, Carmen, getting a gallon of water in by 4 o'clock is hard. If that is my truth, if drinking a gallon of water by 4 of you guys just started drinking your water. That's awesome. If my truth is that's hard, then what do my actions then reflect? My brain says it's hard. My actions treat it like it's hard. And does my brain really want to put me towards hard things? Is checking in hard? Is remembering to check in hard? Carmen, just, if you say it is, it is. If you say, I mean, really though, physically, is it hard? Is it hard to remember to check in? No. But if we say it's hard to check in, what is now our truth? It's hard to check in. So now our actions come from what we say. Our actions come from what we say. Our actions come from what we say. Most of your beliefs are simply something you gobbled up from somebody else and claimed it as your own truth. But guess what? We all have the ability, if your truth, if what you're telling yourself doesn't line up with who you want to be, change it. Change it. If you want to be happily married and you're telling yourself that your husband drives you nuts, change it. Because you're never going to be happily married if your husband drives you nuts. And your husband only drives you nuts because you're telling yourself he drives you freaking nuts. Because that same guy drove you wild when you said I do. But all those things that drove you nuts is because you weren't focused on them. So if what you're saying doesn't line up with who you want to be, is that thought really serving you? And is that really your truth? Or is it something you just heard from someplace else and you decided to adopt as your own? So it's really taking everything that we're saying and running it by Does this line up with who I want to be? Again, not with your fear, not with what you think is possible. Because all of you, including myself, are capable of so much more than what we're doing. All of us are capable of so much more than what we're doing. All of us have settled at some places. Every single one of us, me included, right? So, but it's a journey every day of figuring out, okay, what have I settled for? What words am I speaking that don't line up with where I want to go? And that what words do I need to replace them with? Is where do you notice it's affecting you the most? And what are you going to do about it moving forward?
Well, I mean, I'm sure I could think of a lot of other things, but what pops up first is I have never been able to eat during the day because for decades I starved myself all day and then pigged out at night. So getting that first shake in is usually like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So if I just said, oh, I wake up hungry, I wake up hungry, I wake up hungry, I would I would be hungry, or at least I'll fake it till I make it. So that's where I will drink my Energize and a shake and then work out. And then my recover.
Good job.
Because I know breakfast, I'll be hungry for lunch.
For me, I feel like I can do better at the workouts. And just giving it my all. I don't feel like I go as hard as I really need to during the workouts. I don't know if it's like a fear of with me being pregnant, but I can definitely, put more into it. So I feel like that's where I lack.
And so what will you do about that moving forward?
Moving forward, I'm just gonna tell myself I can do it. Like I can make it through the entire workout and not stop and just give it my all and just love the video.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking while I'm working out, like instead of thinking that I can't do it while I'm working out.
I do not manage my time well, but I can and I will. I'm going to start like actually taking my breaks and looking forward to taking my breaks because the work's always going to be there. So I need to look forward to taking some time and eating when I'm supposed to eat so that my nights are not a flurry of eating everything I can.
I have to kind of echo what Nisha mentioned as far as the workouts. I could definitely go harder on the workouts. The water, I feel like I got the water down. I'm in bonus water. And as far as the workouts, and honestly, this last week I engaged in an additional in-house level of accountability with one of my teenage daughters. And so the other night I did a workout. I'll do a workout in the morning, sometime before noon, and go for a walk or at least a certain number of steps. And the other day I was like, I'm about to shut it down. She was like, do you have energy for one workout? And so my commitment to her is to not lie to her. And I was like, yes. So she's like, let's go. So I got another one in. And even at that, I could definitely push a little bit harder so that I get more out of it. So thank you for this.
I think we probably covered it a couple weeks ago about it. Like I self-sabotage a lot, and Emily and I will compliment each other all the time, but I don't take the compliments to heart. And if she says, you're looking good, I'm like, well, I've got a 1-pack. So I've got to stop putting myself down. And that's what I need to do, is quit sabotaging my progress. And I could tell that because I knew that's what was happening this week when I started looking at the Homer Simpson, M&Ms, Snickers, but I didn't do it, but I could tell that's the start of my self-sabotage again. Find a reason why not to succeed rather than accept that it's working and develop that habit. And continue to develop that habit. So, and the way I'm going to do that is I've got to start saying the same things to myself that Emily says to me, and start believing it. So that's my commitment. I will start believing in myself.
Okay, for me, it's the planning. Of course, I knew I was going to be busy all this week, and I chose not to plan it out ahead of time. I do good at the beginning, and then I just fell off at the end. So for me, it's the planning. I've always spoke that about myself, of always saying, oh, it's because I don't ever plan anything. I don't ever plan anything. I'm not a planner. And as we're going through the call, and as you're speaking everything that you're saying, I'm receiving all the uppercuts over here, and I know that it's the planning, is the basic thing, something so basic, and I don't do it. I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and have one of the shakes in the truck, and I will not use that. I don't have nothing to eat as an excuse anymore. So like I said, I appreciate all those uppercuts, and and I get even mad with myself, but it's all about the planning that I have previously failed. But I'm gonna be so strong coming forward, and you're talking to me. This call is the most is where I have written down the most notes. I'm going over here like on 3 pages. So the planning for me is definitely managing my time, and of course, like Emily said about, I always open my window so late too, because I'm not ever used to eating before noon. I wasn't used to eating before noon, and now sometimes I see at the end of the day I got three waters to chug, a shake, and a recovery, and I'm like, oh my God. So I did, I accept responsibility that it's very bad this past week. I was doing real good as far as but the food, I couldn't leave where I was, and I had that. But I'm not going to have it anymore, because I already have this bag of shakes in my truck, and I will not use that as an excuse anymore.
Hey, for me, I would say that a little bit of self-sabotage of myself, so that I know that I did in the past, and moving forward, I will encourage myself out loud and speak more confidently to myself, and place myself and vision myself where I want to be. So I'll speak good words. And I know for the other one is water. I love to get the water in on time before 4 o'clock. It is very easy to do now. And I'm going to also speak over my workout, which I used to hate burpees, but now I love burpees, and I do burpees very well. So I'm going to continue to do really well with my burpees.
For me, I'm just like Emily and Iris. In the past, I never used to eat anything before maybe 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. And so it's such a struggle for me to put anything in the mouth, or even visit the kitchen in the morning. I work from home, and I just find myself just on my laptop, and I continue doing that. But that is my past now. I like Emily's idea of drinking a shake. I think in the past 2 weeks, I've gotten into the habit of working out in the evening. I actually have no problem waking up in the morning. I can wake up at 5 and maybe just start reading a book instead of working out. So I think from tomorrow, I'll prioritize to wake up, drink my Energizer and my shake, and then work out. That way I start my eating window early.
Awesome. I probably resonated with some of everything that was said. And what I've actually found, ironically, is that if I follow my travel regimen when I'm at home, it works really well. So following my travel regimen where I get up in the morning and I hit everything I need to, and I do my prep in the morning. I'm a semi-planner, but my prep in the morning is when I do that, when I get my workout in, my energize, I sit down, I fill out my sheet for the day, and then I get my meals going. It works really well. When I'm on the road, I find I do an excellent job. And when I'm at home, it's kind of topsy-turvy. And then getting a second workout in, I believe that's the difference between where I'm at now and then being able to move the needle beyond, because I've seen in the last week and a half the difference. So making a change there with making sure I'm planning accordingly and using those tools that I found work for me and the systems that work for me and being consistent with them and accountable. And then also getting in a second workout that I think, while I love the workout program I'm doing, I need that extra push. And like Nakia said, I have the energy for it, but I check the box on it. So I will stop checking the box of getting my 6:45 in and actually do what my body asks for, because when I work out more, I actually feel better.
Good job. I love that. You know, and it really is a difference between pushing yourself to what you can do versus checking the box. But so often, right, we only push ourselves beyond for other people. But for ourselves, we either don't check the box or we check the box. And so, you know, it's one of those things that if you're going to do extra for somebody, do extra for yourself, right? But so often we just do the extra for other people. So I love that you said that. That was a great reminder for everybody. As we are coming into this next week, it's really, you know, holding every thought captive. And as we're speaking and as we're saying, and as we're in our daily comfort zone of just the things we speak and the things we say, to really be taking a deep dive, take a magnifying glass and just ask yourself, okay, hold on. I know I've said this for 10 years. I know I've said this for 20 years. I know I've thought this for as long as I can remember, but where did that even come from? Who told me that? Where did that thought come from? Where did that belief come from? And does that line up with the health that I want? Does it line up with the business that I want, with the job that I want, with the income that I want, with the marriage that I want? Does this line up with what I want, or does it not? Because if it doesn't line up with the life you want, it's got to go. It's got to go. We've got to make sure that whatever we are speaking is lining up with the person we want to become, with the life we want to live. And when we start doing that, man, that's where the magic starts happening. That is where the magic starts